up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Summer House Martha's Vineyard. This is season 2, episode 10, and the only part of the reunion, which we deserved at least 2. But let's get into it. Y'all know sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy, just a little bit. So first up, let's talk about Preston. So Preston did another interview with a content creator by the name of Really B TV. I enjoy her content, but definitely go check out her channel. And if you go and watch the interview, definitely give her a like. But all the interviews that I've been telling you guys about in the Spicy Corner, I watched myself. I watched the one with Carlos King. I watched the one he did with Bravo Bros. I watched the one he did with the Brooke Ashley. And I watched this one that he did with Really B TV. So again, please go check out her channel and give her a like and a view and everything. So Preston's feelings got hurt on Sunday. He did not like how the people were feeling about his performance or his interaction with Jasmine on the reunion, as well as he didn't like that he felt like there was this narrative or this rumor being thrusted out there about him being jealous of Jasmine. Honestly, I didn't see anybody, even when I hit the hashtag, say that Preston was jealous of Jasmine. A lot of people were saying that they felt like Preston was up Jordan's you know what. But I didn't see anyone say that he was jealous of Jasmine. I saw a lot of people saying that the ladies were jealous of Jasmine. But I guess he got perturbed, and this is what he had to say. He said, "There's so much I could share right now. Not everyone is being honest, and I'm going to always be honest about our history. Hashtag Summer House MV." He then goes on to say, "Woo, if only everything was shared. There's a reason common denominators exist. There's no reason for any of us to be jealous of anyone, and that's actually wild of an accusation to me." He then goes on to say, "Like, I've usually never comment on anything, but saying folks are jealous of anyone on Summer House Martha's Vineyard is wild to me. I'll never let that rumor get out there because what?" Then he posted this one picture of his fiance Donald with a smirk like, "Girl, what?" Then he followed it up by saying, "I've never in my entire black gay ass life been jealous of anyone. Given that people had very strong opinions about this very thing last season, that's an interesting take, honestly. And the fact that those likes are from folks with fewer than 5 followers is interesting." He made that comment. I'm thinking he's throwing shade at Jasmine, because when he did the interview with Carlos King, he pretty much let it be known that they, I guess, found out that Jasmine was buying Instagram followers. So I think that was a shot at her. Also saying that a lot of people that were liking tweets about him being jealous or the ladies being jealous were from accounts with 5 followers. That's a lie, because I saw a lot of accounts that were fully operated accounts that were like, "No, we feel like there's more to this situation and y'all are coming off haterish." So I don't totally agree with that statement. But his last statement was, "I'm not going to comment on my accolades, but what," basically saying I'm too accomplished to be jealous of anybody on this show, especially Jasmine. I just feel like your feelings got hurt because the perception that you want to be out there of you, that ain't what we saw, sir. That's just what it is, Preston. You just gonna have to roll with it. I didn't think anybody was saying that you're jealous of Jasmine. I know for me, I've kind of, throughout all these interviews, it just showed that you don't like that lady. You just tolerate her, which is, that's your choice. But you also aren't being honest for the reason why you don't like her. And I'll expound upon that. The last thing we're going to talk about before we get into the review is the interview that Kim Pyre did with Noelle. Right now, there's a few of the clips from the interview going viral online, and I won't play the clips, but I'll basically give you a brief synopsis. So definitely go check out Kim Pyre's channel and his interview that he did with Noelle. So basically, She said a couple of things. The first thing that stood out to me is that she said that Summer basically was going around the house saying that she hated Noelle, that she was like, it kind of sounded like Summer was hating on the fact that Noelle made such good friends with a lot of people, and that people were really vibing with her and things of that nature. Like she felt some type of way. On top of that, Summer and Noelle only knew each other for 2 days. Like Noelle said that Summer was messing with her roommate. They met that one time, and then they met another time throughout, before they came into the house together. So they weren't friends like this, you know what I'm saying? But Noelle says Summer was like flipping on her. Like one minute they were good, the next minute they weren't. They would talk things out, and then Summer would still be talking to other people about it, saying disparaging things about her. The one clip that is going viral right now is Noelle explaining what happened when they were at this basketball game at the Barclays. I remember seeing the picture of them, all of the ladies at the basketball game, and you could tell that Summer's face wasn't really like, she kind of had like a, everybody else was like seemed like they were genuinely having a good time. Before, I guess, Noelle, Bria, and the other ladies met Summer, they were hearing that Summer basically said when she see Noelle and Bria, it's on sight. If they ready for whatever, I'm ready for whatever. Pretty much. They said Noelle said Summer ended up getting drunk. Her phone ended up dying. She ended up having to stay at Noelle's place. And it seemed like there was really like a competition between them, more so on Summer's side than Noelle's side. She then ended up saying that the 2 days we saw where Summer said, I'm out, like, I'm going to go. She basically said the house voted her out. They pretty much voted her out, pretty much said that, like, she was acting too much. She not only pushed Noelle, but I guess Noelle said she got into it with Shanice at the Freaknik party, and they just didn't show that. They also didn't show her, them, excommunicating her from the island. What else did she say? She just said that, like, the energy that she was given on the reunion is because, she was reciprocating what she felt like Summer was giving her, as well as she said that Summer was cutting a lot of people off, and she was like, if she could cut people off, I could cut people off. She also said that Natalie actually cried. Like, Noelle said way more when they were in the kitchen, when they were talking about when Nick was confronting all of the ladies. She said she pretty much read Natalie her rights, basically saying, like, girl, you need to say what you said and more. Like, you had more to add to that conversation. And she said Natalie started crying. And then she said, I was over it because when we ended up sitting down, she was just on mute. So I guess Natalie didn't say nothing. And you could tell she wasn't saying nothing at that table. So she wanted to let the situation go. She said, she doesn't fault Amir too much for like defending his girl, but she also said he kind of took what we gave him at the reunion, which I was surprised by, but he took it fairly well. So it seems like there was way more to the rift between Noelle and Summer, but I also kind of find issue with her story, because you saying you really don't like the girl like that, and you could be cordial, but if she did all those things before she left, then that's what I'm thinking, this is weird. Like, I kind of don't believe this story. I think that's what it is. Because it's like, if y'all excommunicated her off the island, then why was everybody okay with saying goodbye to her? When we saw them ship Mariah out, she packed up and went, and no one had anything to say to her. And maybe that's because she wasn't in the house long enough for them to like build a relationship with her. But it's just kind of like, you even kind of had a slick attitude that she didn't come say goodbye to you. So I'm confused if you was the one leading the charge for her to get kicked out. I definitely think there's more to it. I would like to hear Summer's side, because I definitely do think that there's like truth there. Like someone said, like they always say, it's your side, the other person's side, and the truth lies in the middle. I would like to hear what Summer has to say, but I honestly don't think Summer's gonna come back. A lot of people after seeing that clip was like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I can't wait till next season, season 3. They need to bring Summer back. Summer pretty much said on this reunion, I only want to be on this show in small doses. And then they also, I've seen people say that they were on her Instagram where she pretty much stated in the comments, I don't really want to come back. And I kind of don't blame her, because the comments about her from fans have been very negative, and we already see she not really in the best headspace, and this show is not worth all of that, because they not getting paid that much to have to put their lives on Front Street for people to say that she's a hater, she's this, she's that. Like, I wouldn't subject myself to that. I wouldn't mind if Summer comes back. I'm okay if she doesn't come back, but I think she should come back in order to like complete her story. The same way I think Phil and Mariah should be given the opportunity to complete their own story as well as what was showcased of them on season 1. So maybe we will get like an A and B cast, like I would like to see, where we just have a main house that we see the regular people we all the time, and then we have people come in the last 3 or 4 or 5 episodes to shake the house up. But definitely go check out Kim Pyre's channel and his interview. Again, go check out Really BTV's interview, and let's get into this review. Reunion, I think it was a pretty good reunion for this being Summer House Martha's Vineyard's first reunion. If I had to rate it, I would give it a solid 7. Like, it was good. It had good moments. It dragged at some parts, but it still was good. I think the only issue I felt was like, even with some parts where I felt like it was dragging, mainly when they asked questions to like Shanice at the end. Like, I really didn't feel like the end was needed. I feel like that could have been saved for something else. But honestly, it just it also felt rushed at the same time. Like, it felt like we talked about things that were important, but we didn't have enough time to like really flesh them out. And that's what I kind of hate, because I really wanted to like them to like dive into things, but they didn't dive into them enough for me. For the outfits, y'all already know I said worst dress was Jordan. If you saw my video where I critiqued the outfits, I'll put the link in the description box below. I don't know what her inspiration was. If in fact, like what they said on the Bravo Insider article was true, that Barbie core was the theme for the reunion, I don't know what kind of Barbie she was trying to be, except like post-apocalyptic Barbie, dystopian Barbie, I don't know, rummaging through the trash Barbie, because it gave very much like she found a dirty bath towel, a white one, wrapped it around her legs, and then she found old holiday Christmas saran wrapped and wrapped it around her titties. I really just want to know what the inspiration was, because Jordan is very pretty, but that outfit was horrible. It was horrid. So, and then I saw some people upset that they were having their reunion on Watch What Happens Live. And I feel like that's coming from people that don't watch other shows on Bravo other than Real Housewives. Because a lot of the other shows on Bravo have had their first reunions on Watch What Happens Live. Southern Charm did, the first Summer House did, even Real Housewives of Miami had their first reunion on Watch What Happens Live. I think Vanderpump Rules did, and I think I saw someone said Below Deck as well had their first reunion on Watch What Happens Live's stage. So I didn't think it was a slight to the cast. I feel like that's a lot of this is coming from people who never really watched the show, other shows other than Real Housewives on Bravo. But let's get into it. So the seating chart goes Andy in the middle, as always. You have Jasmine, Summer, Nick, Noelle, and Preston on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, you have Bria, Jordan, Shanice, Amir, and Alex. So pretty much they get right to it. They start talking about the love triangle between Alex, Summer, and Noelle. They do the whole montage. We see the whole, and you didn't even invite the person you were inside of thing. Andy even asked Summer, did you really have to say that? And I said, girl, did you? And she didn't really have nothing to say. He then asks Alex a question, but Summer cuts him off. And then Alex's response to Summer cutting him off is, I think he asked me the question, so fall back, Autumn. Now, if you don't know why he's calling her Autumn, that is because when he was on Watch What Happens Live with Candy, Alex ended up saying that one of the things that made him really fall back from Summer was when they went to a I think it was an open house as a, like, just to go there for fun. And she introduced herself to the realtor as Autumn. And he thought that was like weird to him. So that's why he told her to fall back Autumn. Mind you, throughout this whole entire reunion, Alex was on her neck. Like, he does not see it for her anymore. So she kind of got quiet. He ended up saying that, like, I basically told her what it was. And, things kind of just, it was what it was. So then Andy was like, did things just fizzle out, or did y'all have a conversation? Alex said they had a conversation. Summer was like, that's cap. Things just fizzled out. Then Andy was like, did your relationship, like, were y'all cool before y'all got into the house? And Summer was like, yeah, we were good. And Alex even said we were good as well. And if you notice, they never even had a one-on-one in the house. Like, we never really saw Alex or Summer really have a conversation other than that first episode when they were on the boat. So then I think a viewer's question was asked about, well, why, Summer, didn't you tell Noelle you and Alex, had a thing, messed around? And Summer was like, I did tell her that before we got into the house. And Noelle was like, no, you didn't. Not like that. And then Summer was like, yes, I did. So then they start going back and forth. Like, Noelle is really like giving it to Summer. Noelle said the reason why she was coming at Summer is Summer had been cutting everybody off, and she was just reciprocating the same energy. On top of that, if you watch the interview that she did with Kempire, Noelle said that Summer had been saying some, like, talking very bad about her, saying that she didn't like Noelle and all this other stuff. Now, even with that context, I felt like Noelle was doing too much in that moment. You said that you were cutting her off because she kept cutting you off. But mind you, the question was asked towards Summer. And if you felt like she was lying, you should have sat there and allowed her to get the whole story out. So then when it was your time to respond, you could have like sliced and diced her whole entire argument. When they were arguing back and forth, it just got mushed together for me. Because basically Noelle was mad because she feels like Summer's not telling the truth about the timeline of events. And Summer feels like she is telling the truth. She was like, I told y'all, like, we messed her. She was like, I told you we hung out. And I felt like me telling you we hung out was me telling you we did things. But then Andy was like, just because you like hang out with somebody does not mean that y'all that you told them that y'all did things. And then someone was like, yeah, communication wasn't clear on my part. She said, but then I did tell Noelle what happened between us, and she still decided to pursue him. I even told her it was okay if she wanted to pursue him, but then she also told me she doesn't pursue her friends like flings. And so Noelle had to eat it and be like, yeah, you right, I have to own that, because she did tell you and you still decided to pursue him and try to talk to him, even though Summer said it was cool. So honestly, to me, I just felt like this reunion didn't do Noelle any favors. I still like Noelle, and even with the added context of the reunion, of what she said at the interview with Kempire about the reunion and outside stuff, I still feel like at the reunion she was doing the most. And I also feel like Noelle, like everyone keeps telling her, oh, you're my fan favorite, you're the fan favorite. I think that's gonna do her more harm than good, because Noelle gives me the type of person that will allow people to like boost her up. And the moment like you become a fan favorite, to me, those are the people that fall the hardest, because you start living for other people's expectations of you and you don't show up as yourself, in my opinion. So the conversation kind of ends there. Then Andy posed the question to Alex, like, do you think you're an F-boy? And then, or who here thinks Alex is an F-boy? And Jasmine said he's not an F-boy, and I agree with Summer. You ain't slept with him, so how you know? So shut up. Just because he your friend don't mean nothing. He could be cool in friendships, but not in a relationship. So she was like, he's not that. And then he was like, if I wanted to be an F-boy, I could have slept with Noelle. I said, Noelle, you had all this smoke for Summer, and you ain't get with Alex because he basically said you was easy. He basically says you was easy and you didn't give him that smoke. And Alex basically said, I did the right thing. I could have slept with Noelle. She's beautiful. I said, I'd have been like, first of all, you probably, I don't know if you even would have got that far with me, sir, to be saying you would have slept with me. And he said, and everyone's like, girl, what? And he was like, I chose myself. So then they had a conversation about the whole picture. where I do feel like he was kind of doing the most, where he never no one ever sent the picture to Alex. Basically, I guess they were like talking, and Summer was just like, she was kikiing with Jordan, and I guess Jordan told Nick, and Nick called Alex and was like, what you doing in LA with Summer? And then Summer was like, so if I would have said, hey, let's take a picture together with both of us in it and send it, would you have done it? And he hesitated. So it was like, you didn't want anybody to know you was messing with the girl. And I don't think it was that big of a deal for her to send a picture. I mean, Alex is entitled to feel like, that's weird, that's too much for me. But I don't feel like it makes her a creep or a stalker or anything like that. So the conversation continues. And then this is where I wanted Shanice to shut up, because Shanice added nothing to this. So the next question was like about Alex, when he said that on the Watch What Happens Live with Candy, when he went on there with Candy, he said that Summer was sending him crazy voicemails like an ex, even though she said that his sex was trash or something, or she rated the sex like a 5. And Summer ended up saying, I only sent him one voicemail. And then Shanice jumps in and was like, you know what, I just want to say this, I'm so glad I'm not the crazy one anyone, not the stalker. And it was like, you didn't need to say anything. And you could tell that bothered Summer, because she wasn't laughing and everybody else was pretty much laughing at her. But I was just like, shut up. Like, Summer was basically about to explain her side, and she couldn't get it out because Shanice wanted to say she was glad she wasn't viewed as the creep anymore. The next segment was about Amir. So, girl, when I tell you, they was flaming Amir up. They was flaming Amir up in this segment. So they asked Amir about his relationship with Natalie. They were like, did Natalie want to cut your thing off again? Did she all of this and that? And he ends up saying that was more so a him, not Natalie. And what it boils down to is Amir wants his girlfriend to be like insecure and very like possessive of him, which is so toxic to want, but not uncommon from insecure men, because you don't need to have somebody on you 24/7 like that. That's something you need to work out with a therapist. But that's just my thoughts. So Amir pretty much was like, no, that was just me. And it's funny how you can accept violence from a non-black woman, but you was on the internet in 2012, I think, or 2011, saying you was scared of black women. They scare you. But I'm going to let that go, Amir. It says a lot. You need to go to therapy and work out them issues. So they then get to them asking, how does everyone feel about what Natalie said? Pretty much saying that like she makes what Amir makes in a year in 2 months. A lot of people felt like she was downplaying Amir's profession as well as emasculating him. He ends up saying, no, like I got with a strong woman, I'm okay with this. So then Andy said, I heard you guys, like, you bought a ring. When did Natalie tell you to do that? When I tell you Andy was giving scorned lover kind of when I tell you he was really like picking at Amir. It was funny to me. And he said, when did Natalie tell you to do that? And everyone was cheesing. When I tell you cheesing, they were cheesing. But before that, he ended up asking everybody, do they think Natalie and Amir make a good couple? Nobody raised their hands except Jasmine, then Jordan, then Bria, and Shanice. But that was after Jasmine said, what she said? After she said, I think they look good together. I don't know. Like she said, I think they look good together. Shanice said, yeah, they look good together, but I don't know if they should be together. So Amir's response to that was like, everyone has critiques about your relationship, but that doesn't mean like it's bad. Like that's my relationship. And so that's when we got to the point where Andy was like, so I heard, you bought a ring. And I'm like, I was like, does Natalie know you bought a ring? And he was like, well, I'm going to give it to her when we're like ready. He was like, we've only been together for a year and a couple of months, but like, this is a new relationship for both of us. Then he chimes in and tells us that he bought a house with Natalie. Mind you, he says Natalie's name is on the deed, his name is on the mortgage. And Andy was like, and you think that's we hope that works out for you pretty much. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. So she owns the house and the land that it's on, and you're responsible for paying for it. I don't get why her name can't be on the deed Why your name can't be on the deed with her name and her name can't be on the mortgage? Because if y'all miss a payment, your credit gonna be messed up. See, you're stupid. You're gullible, Amir. Because that doesn't make any sense. Where is your family? Where's your family telling you don't do this? Don't do this. So then they get to this point where everyone's like, well, I will say when Andy ended up saying like, when did Natalie tell you to buy that? And the way everyone was like, ooh, and started laughing, I think that really hurt Amir's feelings the same way it hurt Summer's feelings when Shanice said, I'm so glad I'm not the crazy one anymore. Because Summer's face was very much like, and Amir's face did the same thing, but then he tried to like counteract it by being like, you got me. That was a good one. Like trying to act like he was in on the joke, even though you could see before then he kind of looked defeated after everyone was laughing at him. So then Noelle asked Amir, why did you tell Natalie everybody in the house wanted you? Girl, when I tell you Jordan's face tickled me, because Jordan was like, yeah, because I ain't never wanted you. She was like, never wanted, and I was with Jordan. At that point, I said, yeah, you ain't never wanted, like, why would you lie on that lady like that? And then Jasmine was like, I was happily married. And what's it called? Bria was like, I'm good with Simon. I ain't never wanted you. And then Shanice was like, I ain't want you like that either. Preston chimed in. He was like, I feel like I wanted you more than the other girls. So then Amir ends up saying, well, I was told that Shanice wanted to bang me out. And then Shanice was like, just because I said I wanted to have sex with you doesn't mean I was gonna like hop on it. I was horny. I was like, well, but the way everybody was getting at Amir, the way Andy put his hand on his table and was like, answer the question, Amir. Answer it. I said, you were enjoying this a little too much. A little too much, Andy. A little too much. You messy. So then we get to Summer. They go back to Summer and they run her footage of everybody she fought with. Everybody. She breaks down crying. Like she's crying. Like she's embarrassed. She is ashamed and she's hurt by what she just saw. She's just like, it's a lot. Preston is telling her to breathe through it. She pretty much is like, I was going through a lot of things. And I think honestly what it was for Summer is it was rejection coupled with her family issues. Like some people don't do well handling rejection when everything is okay. And they definitely don't do well handling rejection when everything around them is falling apart. So I think being rejected by Alex and then him being interested in Noelle on top of, looking for her father, trying to figure out her situation with her mom and also trying to like make sure her grandmother is okay, who's basically her mom. I think it just was a storm of what we got. We got summer and we had a summer storm basically. It just what we got. And so she tries to say, this is not a justification. She was just like, I was going through a lot and I just did not handle it well. So then I think Andy asked her, well, why didn't you talk to Jordan? Why didn't you talk to Preston? And she ended up saying, like, they had a lot going on, and I just didn't know how to reach out. And then they got on the topic of her and Noelle, and she just was like, because Noelle was like, you could have confided in me. We could have talked about it. And Summer was like, I didn't want to share too much with you because I didn't want to do all of that. She was like, I didn't want to burden you with that. She said, on top of that, I've been around a lot of people that have taken care of me, but they have left me. So they have abandoned me. And I guess she internalized that as like, I can't give you too much. Either you're going to use that against me or you're going to basically throw me away. And she was just pretty much scared. Hopefully she is in therapy because she definitely needs it. We find out that she did get in contact with her father that she found on Facebook, but it's not really a good relationship. Like, I don't think she talked to him like that or he wants anything to do with her, but she does have her grandfather who adopted her, and she has a good relationship with like her uncles and her stepfather. So she really doesn't need the relationship, but she did say she did feel a sense of closure knowing like who her dad is now. So then, like I said, her and Noelle went back and forth. Then Andy said, like, where are you and Noelle? And Summer basically said, like, I don't wish anything bad on her. We could be cordial. And Noelle said, yeah, we could be cordial. And that's pretty much it, because we find out that Noelle doesn't follow Summer, but she follows everybody else in the cast. So then Alex chimes in and he's like, well, couldn't somebody be going through something and not hurt other people? Honestly, when I tell you, Alex was on Summer's neck. And then Jordan chimed in and was like, yeah. And everyone else said, yeah, but she just told you she didn't have the tools in order to do that correctly. So then he got quiet after that. So then they started talking about the whole alopecia thing. Like, a viewer question was like, Jordan, why did you blame Summer for telling everybody you had alopecia when it seemed like everybody knew you had alopecia? And Jordan was like, I don't think everybody knew I had alopecia. So then when Jasmine was on Watch What Happens Live, she pretty much said, I was the one that knew she had alopecia. Nobody else knew that she had alopecia. And Summer basically didn't tell anybody else that she had alopecia. So then Andy was like, thank you for clearing that up. So then they talked to Jordan about like her alopecia and how is it going? And Jordan pretty much said that she got the surgery, but now it's like it didn't really work. Like she's probably gonna go in for another one. So I guess she had a really bad flare up, but she just was like surprised that a lot of other people could relate to having alopecia like she did. Andy asks about the relationship between Jordan, Summer, and Preston. And, Summer said, Preston is my everything. Like, when he told me he wasn't going to leave me, that meant a lot to me because I've never had anyone say that to me. And she said, me and Jordan are kind of at a rocky point right now, but I still love her. She's still my everything. So then Andy asked her, like, well, do you think you guys can mend fences? Like, and she was like, yeah, totally. And Jordan kind of nodded her head, yes. So then he was like, do you think you want to stay in the house or come back on vacation again? And Summer basically said in smaller doses. So to me, that means that Summer is either only going to come back in a friend capacity, the way we saw Mariah and Phil. So 2 episodes or 3 episodes tops, or we're just not going to see her anymore unless they offer her probably a really cute coin, a really, really, really nice check for her to come back and be back in this space with these people. The next segment was about Bria and Preston. And pretty much what it was them just butting heads. We find out when Preston did his Watch What Happens Live, where he says that Bria annoys him, that Bria had blocked him 2 days before then. Summer is over there laughing because she's like, that's just what Bria do. Bria block people, and Bria's like, yeah, I do. And what y'all gonna do about it? So Preston ends up saying he sees Bria like a little sister. He really cares about Bria. And Bria's like, I care about him too. I love him too. Andy's like, y'all be saying y'all love each other, but be ready to rip each other's heads off. I feel like y'all are just saying I love you as a way to be like, y'all don't mess with each, like, F you. And Noelle was like, yeah, this kind of is what they doing. So then Bria basically says, I just always feel like Preston is coming for me. She was like, when you first met me, you threw a dig at me. And they end up showing a flashback where Preston basically said, Bria kind of gives like she's a pageant girl who never made it to never got the crown pretty much. And she was like, that hurts my feelings because you didn't even know me. So then Preston apologizes. Then Preston was like, well, but Bria, I've done a lot of things for you outside of the cameras. When you got locked up overseas, I was there helping you. And I remember doing a spicy corner about that, where Bria and her sister and Simon went to the Cannes Film Festival that's going on right now over there in France. They went a year ago, and her sister got arrested. Basically, these ladies said, these French women, and we know how the French roll when it comes to black people, okay? Especially African people, that they were stealing in their store. And they called the police, they got arrested. Then the police tried to accuse them of being like prostitutes, like ladies of the night, because during the film festival, they say that like that type of like work goes up. Like that type of things that happen, the ladies of the nights, prices go up, and a lot of them come to the film festival in order to work. And so she and her sister were there for hours, and they didn't get out till Simon came and got them. So then Andy, So then Preston was like, you called me. I got you in touch with international lawyers. We cried on the phone. And Bria was like, yeah, like you did that. That was great. Like, I was appreciative. He was like, I don't even think you ever said thank you. And Simon really didn't do anything for you. And Bria was like, what are you talking about? I know I said thank you. You're crazy. And Simon got me out of jail. And Bria, I remember Bria saying, had she not been with Simon, she thinks she would have been in there longer because there was like a language barrier. And they were very, like she said, they were being very short with them and aggressive. And I think because when they saw that white man come in there, that another European white man, they kind of eased up on them once they realized that they were connected. Then they let her and her sister go, basically. So Preston ends up, after Bria was like, are you crazy? I did say thank you. He kind of like let it go. But I feel like nobody caught when Bria said, Preston, you be acting different when the cameras are on versus when they're off. Because Preston was like, Bria, I've done a lot of things outside of the cameras for you. And she was like, yeah, but when these cameras are on, it's a different story. And I kind of believe it based off of the interviews that Preston has done and the way that he's acting on Twitter. I do kind of feel like he might be a different person when the cameras are on versus when they're off. Because there's some things about Preston in these interviews where I'm just kind of like, you are not neutral. You also aren't the voice of reason anymore, the way you've been saying you are, as well as you feel like people have propped you up to be, because you clearly play favorites. And Preston has said multiple times in his interview he doesn't want to be that anymore. And I think after this season, nobody's going to see you like that anymore, sir. So you got what you wanted, okay? So, they then all wanted to talk to Bria about Simon, where they were like, do you feel like Simon is a clout chaser? And who, like, some of your cast members feel like Simon is a clout chaser. And when I was watching the interview with Noelle, Noelle pretty much said a lot of the boys kind of felt that way about Simon. They were like, Simon kind of comes in and he wants to be the center of attention. He needs to play the role of a boyfriend, not trying to be a cast member. And Noelle also said that they were all wondering, like, does he really care about Bria? Does he really want to be with Bria in that way? And Amir ends up saying that we've all told Bria how we felt about Simon. Bria ends up saying, like, no, Simon's not a clout chaser. Simon is a multimillionaire. I said, where the millions at? Because I don't see them. Where they at? Maybe that's millionaire in German, but I don't see it. So she pretty much said that, like, over there in Germany, I guess they don't have reality shows like this. So he's just excited by the show and he wants to be a part. And Andy was like, don't you think that's kind of clout chasing? Like, don't you think that's the definition of clout chasing? And she's like, well, no. And so then Jasmine kind of jumps in and says that she spoke to Bria's mom. And the truth is everyone likes Simon, but everyone just feels like Simon just be doing too much when he has an audience. And kind of like what Noelle said on her interview with Kempire, he's like a frat bro. And I was like, yeah, Simon does give douchey frat bro energy. And normally frat bros get very like, when they have a crowd. When they have a crowd, it's time to get drunk, time to party. They want to keep it going. And Simon does give me that type of energy. They then get on to Jasmine's segment. She gets emotional seeing her birth, seeing her go through the house with the issues with people, seeing Silas, and she gets emotional. And she said, yo, it still gets me every time. Then she was like, a question was posed to her where they were like, how has everyone treated you after having your baby? Like, who supported you the most? Who supported you the least? And everyone was like, dang, that's a pretty harsh question. And she was like, for the most part, it's all right. I would be lying if I told you it was copacetic, because there were comments made that rubbed me the wrong way. And she was talking about Jordan's comment about, like, I'm sure this is Silas's, or I'm hoping this is Silas's first child. And Jordan was like, well, I meant it in jest. Like, I meant it as a joke. That's my sense of humor. And Shanice is like, oh, that's my sense of humor too. Yeah, that's your sense of humor. But y'all not friends. Y'all were not friends at that moment. Y'all had a rift. So you don't need to be making no jokes about me or my man or my family. Because you wouldn't want to be making jokes about your alopecia saying, oh, that's a shitty wig. But hey, okay, it's a joke. That's why you're bald underneath. Like, that would be disrespectful. So, like, I'm glad Jordan apologized, but I feel like her reasoning was cap. You wanted to throw a dig at Silas. You wanted to throw a dig at Jasmine because y'all weren't cool at that point. And y'all still not really cool right now. So then Jasmine basically was like, I'm glad we had a conversation. We talked it out, but it still hurt my feelings. And then Andy pretty much, like, I think another question was like, so what is the issue between you and the ladies, this whole Jamaica trip, what is it? Like, why do y'all have issues with Jasmine? And Jasmine was pretty much like, yeah, let me know what it is. Let me know what it is. Let's talk about this Jamaica trip. Like, what have I done to really be ostracized by the group in this way? And Summer starts it off. She said, honestly, me and Preston been getting the heat. Like, you need to take the heat off of me and Preston about the Jamaica trip. I know me and you had our issues, but we were able to resolve them. And Jordan was like, yeah, she said, I was cool with you coming. It was really Jordan and Shanice that said they didn't want you there. And I find that funny because Preston said in his interview with the Brooke Ashley that it was Bria and Shanice that said they didn't want Jasmine to be there, not Jordan and Shanice. So some people online were like, it's mighty convenient that Preston didn't say Jordan's name. He said Bria's. So it's feeling like he was trying to cover for Jordan because he knows Jordan was kind of unhappy with the way fans were perceiving her and with the edit. Pretty much Preston said in that interview with the Brooke Ashley that Jordan said, because I keep getting edited at like I'm the mean girl or like I'm this horrible person, I'm just not going to give them anything. So that's why she pretty much fizzled out by the end of the season. So Jasmine was like, okay, Shanice, what's your issue with me? And Shanice was like, well, y'all were already in drama, and I didn't think you were going to bring more drama to the trip. Really, you didn't have a reason. You didn't have a reason. It really gave follower energy because Jordan seems to be the only one that really has like a legit reason why she had an issue with Jordan, but Shanice seems like a follower. If you and Jasmine had a relationship outside of Jordan, then there was no need for you to say that she didn't need to come on the trip. I would get why Jordan didn't want her on the trip because they weren't on good terms, but for you to say it and then when you're pressed about, well, why didn't you want the girl to be there? Shanice can't say nothing other than be like, I just didn't want a drama. I just didn't want drama. And then Jordan and Jasmine just looking at Shanice like, girl, what? So then they ask about Silas and Preston. Seems like Silas and Preston aren't cool anymore. We don't really have a reason why they're not cool anymore. They just not cool no more. They haven't had a conversation. He said me and Silas would need to have a conversation for us to move forward. Then Jasmine basically says, please let me know what was the issue, Preston. Like, I feel like you owed me like a reason why I didn't get invited to the trip. Like, I'm the reason why you know these other people. And then Andy was like, just because you're the reason why he's introduced to these other people doesn't mean that like, it doesn't mean that he like owes you anything. And Preston then took offense to it because he was like, I feel like you said that as at a dig to me. And she was like, well, you're supposed to be the one playing neutral all the time, like the elder of the group. And I feel like you could have told me that we weren't like did nobody want me around? You were in my wedding. And he was kind of like, and this is what I feel like. Preston wants to be up Jordan's ass. Like, because Jordan doesn't like Jasmine, because Preston has done 7 or 6 interviews, and anytime he brings up Jasmine, he just says that she was moving funny, but he never verbatim says what it is. And to me, either something happened with Silas and Preston and he just said, I don't want to be cool with Jasmine no more, or he really got clicked up with Jordan and figured that, you know what, because this is my girl, this is my baby mama, like he refers to Jordan, he decided I no longer really want to have a relationship with Jasmine. Because you have done several interviews, Preston, and has yet to explain it. You had that whole moment on Twitter on Sunday and did not say what it was. People were in the comments being like, so what's really the issue between you and Jasmine? And if you would just verbatim say, I don't like her, that's just what it is, or we just don't vibe together, we're just not connecting anymore, I could respect that. But saying that the girl is moving funny, that she's buying Instagram followers and all of this stuff, but not specifically saying what it is, you coming off, you moving funny to me now. And this whole, like, I hate how much Preston is like, I'm honest, don't re-envision history. People who constantly have to say that to me make me feel like you be lying. It makes me feel like you're lying or you're just a mean person. Because a lot of people who say I'm honest are people who are honest without being tactful. I'm always honest. I'm always honest. Yes, but are you tactful when you're honest? Which means you're being honest just to be a dick. And you have not been honest. You have not verbatim said what it is, which makes me feel like there's nothing to it. And even if y'all had sat there for hours and talked about your issues, the fact that they did not show it means it really wasn't relevant to the conversation at this point, sir. So the conversation ends with basically a stalemate with Jasmine, like, no, with Preston pretty much being like, and we're done, closing his legs and like turning his body to the other way, I'm done with this. And Jasmine doing the same thing, being like, okay. Like, and I was happy that Jasmine matched Preston's energy. I was glad she didn't let Preston punk her, because I think Preston thought it was going to be an easy argument, like how he had it with Bria. And so I think he was just kind of like, oh, okay, she really trying me. And so they had to kind of battle it out. Honestly, I still, again, I would respect Preston more if he just said, I don't like the lady, or even if he said, me and Silas is not cool, so I don't want to be cool with his wife. But what it's giving to me is that you don't really have you haven't said the reason. And the fact that you have yet to say the reason, and you were like, we talked for hours, makes me feel like either, like, again, what you said wasn't really of value. Like, I would respect it even more if you were just like, I don't feel comfortable being friends with her because me and her husband aren't doing good, and that's just what it is. On top of that, I like, I'm cool with Jordan, and Jordan has shared things with me, and I want to move on. I don't really know how to manage that relationship, other than you trying to act like you neutral, and that, like, that show, like, that being in that girl's wedding wasn't that deep. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, bro. It was. It was. You just not gonna buy no tuxedo or rent a tuxedo to be in a wedding that you don't want to be in. And if you do that, you stupid. I'm not paying no money to be in a wedding I don't want to be in. So I'm just like, yeah, Preston, I don't know about you right now, bro. So then they get to the Jordan of it all. And Jordan pretty much says that her and Jasmine's relationship kind of shifted because she felt like she didn't know who this new Jasmine was. She felt like Jasmine was trying to puppeteer everybody. And she also felt like Jasmine was trying to sell her off to the highest bidder, aka Amir. And Amir was like, oh, I'm broke. They do the flashback of where they were having the conversation where Jasmine is like, I know you want a life partner and I want to help you with that. And what it sounds like to me, here's the thing. I'm going to just be honest. They don't really have a reason why they don't like Jasmine other than they just don't like Jasmine anymore. I feel like I would really want them to say, like, we outgrown each other and I just don't want to be your friend no more. Other than them just trying to, like, shove her off the island and say that last season was the reason why. Because was Jasmine annoying as hell last season? Yes, but she wasn't so annoying where you couldn't go check up on your friend knowing good and well that she was at the house by herself while her husband was deployed, and then you ended up finding out she was pregnant and you wasn't checking up on her, and that's supposed to be your sister cousin. Yeah, you just never really liked that girl that much, Jordan, because there's no way what happened last season would have me so like, I can't be friends with somebody like that. And I know she's at that house or wherever she was by herself, pregnant. No. No. And they keep saying she moving funny, but I have yet to hear somebody explain to me what moving funny is. I think they're jealous of Jasmine. I don't think it's a jealousy. I think it's a how dare you type of energy. Like, how dare it be her? Like, how dare she get to move to this part of her life? Like, really, it's her? That's what I think it is. And this is just my theory. You could have another theory. But my theory is when I look at those pictures of them at the Playboy mansion, or not in Playboy at the club or whatever, Jordan was definitely the Beyonce. She got on Playboy. She's like, Jordan's energy is very like sophisticated and cute. So she got on Playboy. She already elevated ahead of the girls already. So if the guys were going to the club to, like, go hang out with her or just be there to vibe and stuff like that, they probably, men that got the coin was probably going to go see Jordan. Especially a certain type of dude. Then you got Shanice, who's like the fun time girl. I'm gonna show everybody my titties, like, and I'm mixed. I'm giving you the best of both worlds for some people. She's giving the next in line, so the Kelly. Then you have Bria, who is small, petite. When she puts that wig on and gets that makeup right, she's very pretty. But men like feisty, like aggressive girls at times, and Bria gives that. So she is giving me a Michelle. And then you got Jordan, you got Jasmine, who I feel like was the Latavia. Well, I won't say Latavia. She giving the Latoya Luckett of the group. And I love me some Latoya Luckett. But it's like she's the fourth one. And I think a lot of the energy coming from Jordan is very much like, girl, it was supposed to be me. not you. It was supposed to be me, not you. I also think she's kind of, maybe Jordan is pushed back because she thought the way the fans would perceive her versus Jasmine. And she's like, whoa. But I really do feel like it's like, how dare it be her? You know, it should have been one of us first before it was her. That's what is given to me. I don't think they want to be with Silas. They even asked, does anybody miss Silas? And honestly, the only people that raised their hand was Jasmine, Bria, I think Amir, and Alex. Preston didn't raise his hand. Nick didn't raise his hand. Noelle didn't raise her hand, but she don't know him. And I don't think I saw Summer raise it, and I didn't see Jordan raise it either. So I don't think any of them are like jealous of her being with Silas, but I do think they are kind of, I do think it's the energy, and they may not even realize that's the energy that they giving off. But the energy they're giving off is like, that one got it before the rest of us got into a stable relationship. And maybe that's the thing, because when Jasmine said, I'm constantly evolving, I'm constantly changing, like, just because I, like, y'all see me where I was back then doesn't mean I'm there now. It's given that Jasmine was probably always the one that they were like, she never gonna get her life together. And she got her life together in a very quick fashion. And it probably was like, it wasn't supposed to be you before any of us type energy. That's what I'm getting. I don't know. I don't think it's like they're jealous of it. It's just kind of like, out of all of us, her? Really? Why? That's what it's kind of giving to me. So then they move on to the Nick situation. They play Nick's B-reel footage. He pretty much says that, like, he was uncomfortable watching that because Andy was like, well, how do you feel now based off of watching the video? He said, well, you know, they told me about it, seeing it for myself, I am correcting my behavior. They then get to the part where, you know, Jordan said he wasn't being creepy. It was just that he was touchy, like kind of Philly in a way that's like, I don't think if I had a man, I would be comfortable with that. And he was like, all right. They then get on when Bria pretty much says, if you were drunk, I feel like he'd be down with it. So then Nick is like, let's touch upon that. You was the one asking me if I could be your sleep partner. And I thought that was a joke. But now, like, you trying to say all of this about me, and I was flirting with you. And so Nick pretty much says, like, that won't know. And then Alex chimed in. Alex did have Nick's back where he was like, well, Bria, the same thing could be said about you. And Bria was like, yeah, and I own that about myself. And he was just like, that's not fair. I did see a clip where they did kind of address Shanice and like her twerking about him having wandering eyes. And Nick pretty much told Shanice, when we was at the rose party and you basically went topless and was twerking, I turned my head the other way. So what are you talking about? Like, you constantly doing stuff. And Shanice really didn't have a response to that. So then they get on the Natalie and Amir of it all. And Amir was like, yeah, I was kind of shocked about how involved Natalie got. But she wasn't trying to be messy. She was just trying to, like, and then that's when Noelle was like, nah. And then everybody else chimed in and was like, yeah, bro, no. Noelle said your girlfriend was being messy. She was even adding to the conversation. And Noelle did say that in the Kempire interview, where she was like, she added to the conversation, even said, if I saw Amir acting that way, I would be over it. And I'm Tasia's friend, so I'm going to tell her. So then as Summer basically said, well, did y'all, like, when Natalie said she was gonna go tell Nick, did y'all tell her no? And they, all three of them, Shanice, Noelle, and Bria, was like, we did tell her no. We didn't even know that Jordan and Summer had the conversation with Nick. So, but we told her don't tell her. Bria ended up saying, I didn't want to do it because I did it last year, and I didn't want to be involved in that, and that was messy. And so then Shanice said, I didn't want no parts of it. And Noelle said, it wasn't even going to get to that point. We were just having girl talk. And normally when we talk, it doesn't leave the group. But your girlfriend was adamant about telling Tasia. And then Amir was trying to dress it and be like, well, they're friends. Girl, they not friends that much, Amir. They are not friends that much, Amir. Because the way that lady was touching on Tasia, and Tasia pretty much told her, I don't want to have the conversation with you, then that's that on that. So then Noelle basically says, we told her to speak up when we were getting confronted by Nick. Like, we told her to speak up. She didn't want to say nothing. In the conversation that Noelle had with Kempire, she said that the girl started crying when everyone started confronting her. And so they kind of left it at that. So then Amir says Natalie wants to come back because I think Andy says, does she want to come back? And she was like, he's like, yeah, because she doesn't like the way she was perceived. And she definitely wants to, like, change the perception of her, because she was like, she didn't like the way that she looked on the show. But he was like, that's up to everybody here if they want her to come back. And you can tell that Nick and Amir's relationship is not the same, because Nick looked really like he looked sad, but also like irritated and disgusted. And he said, I'll say this, if she come back again or wants to get to know people, she should rather talk to them instead of talking about them. Because it seemed like, from what Noelle said on the interview, is like Natalie knew everybody's tea because Amir was telling her, which, you know, couples pillow talk. But it seemed like she knew it in a way where it also feels like production filled her in too. So maybe production was like orchestrating her in some way. But that doesn't mean you have to listen either. But it just feels like she knew stuff. So it was just kind of like, if you knew what's going on, why do you need to tell people? Why do you need to tell? So we end up finding out that Tasia and Nick actually did break up. What it boils down to is that Tasia probably wanted to get married and Nick don't want to get married yet. So they decided to go their separate ways, which was probably the best thing for them. They then talk about Nick wearing the outfit, you know, when he was Nicovelli with the tattoos. He said like his inbox was full. He hasn't answered everything, but he appreciates all the love that he got from everybody. And then as the episode was like wrapping up, they start talking about Summer and Shanice. That's how Shanice should know that she is not valued on this show, because you got like 4 minutes, ma'am. And this really wasn't something for them to be mad about. So they were like, well, why were you so mad about the comment about being known as worst dress from Summer? And Shanice was like, well, Summer knew what I was going through. And Summer was like, yeah, I knew what you was going through, but that wasn't taking a dig at like your financial situation. I also tried to help you get clothes too. And I heard about Summer saying that she tried to do that on Watch What Happens Live. And so Shanice is like, it's the way you said it. You said Shanice so quickly. And Summer was like, no, I said Shanice. And she was also like, that was Amir's question, not yours. And she was like, Summer's like, everybody was laughing at it. Noelle threw her whole body on me. Noelle's like, why am I in it? And so everybody was laughing. It wasn't that deep. She was like, well, Shanice said, the thing that really bothered me is you asked me for a sweater or a dress, but you just told me my clothes look bad. She was like, because I know how to pair clothes and you don't. I giggled because I think that's true. Summer said the outfit that you wore on Watch What Happens Live I thought was ugly too. So then Shanice says, well, I look better than you. I said, Shanice, you don't, especially with the way you carry yourself. You don't. Like, Summer is a lot. She need to go sit on someone's couch, and so does Shanice. But like, if we talking about y'all matching each other up, and I feel like Shanice only said that because they're like the same skin tone, and you know, I think Summer is mixed, and so is Shanice, because when they showed the grandfather, that man is white. That's a white Jamaican man probably. So I'm just like, I think that's why Shanice said it, but I'm like, you really don't, Shanice. I mean, you pretty, but like, you not beating Summer with them beautiful big lips and that big hair she had going on. So I was just like, okay, Shanice. Okay, so then the conversation continued with actually the Brooke Ashley's question, where she was like, Shanice, why do you keep saying that you be messing with these ballers? And Shanice was like, I know I was going to get this question. Like, she was thinking it was going to be like such a flex. And then the Brooke Ashley's question was like, but yet you over here crying about not being able to afford a Zara shirt and being broke. And I said, oh, all this segment told me is Shanice is a bird and a goofy, because there's no way I'm gonna be like, well, because Shanice said that she was messing with high profile men who were athletes, who were CEOs, because she was like, she thought that was a flex on herself. But then she tried to be like, well, I'm not a gold digger, we're just sleeping together. That still then don't bring it up that you're messing with these men, because you look stupid. Because if I'm out here, you know, dropping it, you know, Desert Eagle, shouts out to Beyonce, for a man, And he can't slide me like $50 when I call, like, hey, I'm hungry. I need some gas money. Like, I need to go buy some business clothes for some interviews or something. Like, if he can't slide me no money, but he wants to slide in me, then I'm not telling everybody about that, and I'm not bragging about it. You were over here being like, yeah, I know that, like, flexing. That wasn't a flex. Shanice is such a goofy. She's such a goofy. But that's how the episode ended, with Shanice basically saying she not a gold digger. So a solid C. A decent C season. So yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and definitely hop down in the comment below. And if you like what you heard, give me a thumbs up. And I'm out, y'all. So y'all, I'm so irritated. So I just hopped on to Twitter after I got done doing the video, and I come across this article posted by Dateline. It says Bravo hits pause on Summer House Martha's Vineyard after 2 seasons. And I was like, dang. It says Bravo has paused Summer House Martha's Vineyard after 2 seasons. Dateline has learned the reality series has not been canceled, but a 3rd season has not yet been greenlit for this year after 2 consecutive seasons. Summer House Martha's Vineyard wrapped its 2nd season on Sunday, May the 26th, after a reunion special hosted by Andy Cohen. The cast fought to have a reunion after its 2nd year on air, as they had many things to resolve. Bravo reunited the cast, bringing them together at the Watch What Happens Live Clubhouse to air their drama. This season showcased, and then they said all the cast members' names. I'm so irritated. So it goes on to say, Summer House Martha's Vineyard is not the only reality series Bravo has recently put on pause. Earlier this year, the network revealed that Winter House would not shoot as its 4th season. The show followed various Bravo celebrities from Summer House, Vanderpump Rules, Below Deck, coming together to share a house. Another show that is not going into production during their regular filming schedule is Vanderpump Rules. Bravo is set to break on the season 12 following Scandival. It's unknown if and when the show will return. A pause show doesn't always mean that it's canceled forever. An example is Real Housewives of Miami. The reality show was paused in 2013. The show came back in 2022. So I'll put the link to this article in the description box below. And I mean, the ratings weren't good, but I didn't think they were that bad where they would want to put the show on pause, which sucks, because I really do definitely think if they gave them more time and also possibly changed the location, maybe things would be different. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're putting them on pause. Maybe they're trying to find a different location to film the show, but that sucks. That sucks. I was hoping that we were going to start gearing up for a 3rd season. But we'll see. I mean, they are right. Just because they put something on pause doesn't mean that it's canceled. But maybe they might do what they did with Atlanta, where they revamp the entire cast, or where we don't get to see them until, like, they might be paused for like a whole year. Like, we don't get to see them in 2025. We'll see them in 2026. But yeah, I think that sucks. But yeah, y'all, I'm out. Deuces.